Hey, I'm Marissa.
And I'm Amna. Welcome to Fed Up But Informed, the show where we break down the economy without putting you to sleep. Because, let's face it, economics can sound like a snooze fest.
That's right, but today we're spicing things up. We've got a Fed hotline where people are calling in with questions. And let me tell you, the economy has some wild stories to tell.
So buckle up, folks. Let's get started.
Part 1. What is the Fed?
Okay, so first let's talk about who's really in charge of this whole economy thing. The Federal Reserve is like the brain of the US economy. It's a big deal. But what exactly does it do? Bring, bring!
Oh, we've got a call already. Let's take
Hey, this is Becky from Omaha. Quick question. I hear the Fed's name all the time. What exactly does it do?
Great question, Becky. So, the Fed is basically the central bank of the United States. It manages money and makes sure everything runs smoothly. Like keeping inflation under control and making sure people can get jobs. It's kind of like the air traffic controller for money. If it messes up, the whole economy could crash.
Part 2. The tools.
Now, let's talk about how the Fed actually does this. It's got 3 main tools, and we'll break them down with some phone call help.
First tool, interest rates. The Fed raises or lowers the federal funds rates.
Another caller? You're on the air. Hi, I'm Josh from Seattle. I've heard the Fed raises interest rates to control inflation, but how does that actually work?
Oh, great question, Josh. So, if the Fed raises rates, borrowing money becomes more expensive, like taking out a loan or using a credit card. People and businesses slow down spending because it's more expensive to borrow. This cools off the economy and keeps prices from going crazy.
Next up, open market operations, or buying and selling bonds. The Fed buys bonds when it wants to inject money into the economy and sells bonds when it wants to pull money out.
And last but not least, reserve requirements. This is the rule about how much cash banks have to keep in the vault. If the Fed lowers that number, banks can lend more money, which gets the economy moving.
Part 3. How it works in real life.
Alright, let's break this down. If inflation is rising and prices are out of control, the Fed will raise interest rates to slow things down. Higher rates mean borrowing costs more. People and businesses will spend less, which lowers demand for goods and services. As a result, prices stop rising so fast and inflation cools off.
Bring, bring, bring. Looks like we have another call coming in. Let's see what's up.
I'm Sarah from Miami. I'm still confused. How exactly does raising interest rates lower inflation? Can you break that down?
Great question, Sarah. So, imagine you're thinking of buying a car, but interest rates are high. You're going to think twice about taking out that loan because it's going to cost more to pay you back.
Exactly. So less borrowing means less spending in the economy. When people and businesses spend less, there's less demand for goods and services, which helps keep prices from rising too quickly.
In short, when it's harder to borrow money, people and businesses hold off on buying and spending, which brings down inflation.
But if the economy is in a slump and unemployment is high, the Fed lowers interest rates to make borrowing cheaper.
That's right. When rates are low, it's easier for people to borrow money, and they're more likely to buy homes, cars, or start businesses. That helps boost the economy and more people get hired.
And if the Fed wants to pump even more money into the economy, it buys bonds. That puts more money in circulation, making it easier for banks to lend to people. And again, more spending happens.
Bring, bring, bring.
Oh, we were not supposed to be getting any more calls.
It's okay. We can pick it up anyways.
Hello? My name is Ella from Oregon. I was wondering why Michael ghosted me after our date.
Oh, sounds like he practiced contractionary policy. Pulled back all his interest real fast.
Conclusion.
Alright, folks, that's all we've got for today. We hope you've learned something about how the Fed helps steer the economy.
We know the economy can sound, well, confusing. But we hope we made it a little less, well, boring.
Thanks for joining us on Fed Up But Informed. Catch you next time when we dive into even more economy chaos.
Don't forget to keep your phone on. You never know who might call next.